This is part 3 and sharing some more about me and my life and so forth. I told you all in part 2 of this series, so to speak, that I dropped out of school in the 8th grade. However, about a year or two later, I went back and got my GED. And years ago, it wasn't a requirement to get a federal job to have a GED or a high school diploma. I got a job with the feds, y'all, as an 8th grade dropout. However, when I got up in there, the first year I was in there, they had a program that was voluntary. If you wanted to get your GED, they would let you go during business hours, and they would foot the bill, and you take the test, and then you would, get your GED that way. So I, availed myself of the opportunity, and I went to study and so forth, and got taught on the government's dime, so to speak, during their time, regular work hours, and that's how I passed and got my GED. And I didn't drop out of school in the 8th grade because I was illiterate or stupid or anything like that. I was just rebellious. Okay, that was mainly my reason, and I wanted to hang out and be cool, or so I thought. Of course, we know it's not cool to drop out of school, but that's a whole other ball of wax I'm not going to get into. Both my parents were talented writers, and they weren't published, but they wrote poetry, and they were excellent in their writing skills, and I took that up from my parents because now I'm a licensed writer and editor, and writing comes relatively easy for me, and I've been doing it over the years, and I think since I was a teenager I've been doing some sort of writing. I just started getting paid for it about 6 or 7 years ago, though I have a home-based business as a licensed writer and editor and consultant, and I also read tarot cards and oracle cards as well. But anyhow, my mom, I am the product, I would tell you all, of an extramarital affair. My father was married, my mother was married. And it wasn't like a fleeting affair. My mom passed away when I was a teenager, so I didn't get the real deal story from her. But my dad later on told me that he was actually in love with my mom. And they just, for whatever the reasons were back in those days, they didn't leave their spouses and get married to each other. But he indicated, and even when he would talk about her years later, I could tell in his voice that he had a deep love for my mother. So I'm glad that their affair was one of love. And I'm not advocating cheating. I'm not on board with people cheating on each other. But I'm the product of that. And so, hello, here I am, y'all. And I am, as far as my personality, I am pretty much known for being outspoken. And I have learned to temper it because years ago I could come across as brutally honest and frank, and I've gotten away from that, but I'm still nowhere near shrinking violet, and I'm not shy in any form or manner, and I'm quite self-assured and confident. I'm not arrogant because I don't believe in arrogance being an excellent quality, but I do let people know, who I am and things of that nature. And I'm a big fan of sharing and caring. I have a low tolerance for selfishness. And so no matter how much I have or don't have at any given time, I love to give. And of course, in balance, life is about giving and receiving. And I'm a firm fan of both. In balance, in perspective. Excess in either area is just not in order. But you all, for the most part, get my drift. So I love solitude. I learned to love solitude even before I was a practicing Christian, so to speak, because when I was married, my marriage was so fucked up. I wanted to escape, and I didn't have any children, and a lot of my friends had kids, and they couldn't get babysitters, and this, that, and the other. So I learned to go out and spend time alone because, again, my friends had child care issues and things when I wanted to do things. So I learned to love my own company and to love solitude, and I still love solitude. I love spending time with Sandra. And I can be around people. I can be comfortable with or without people, but I am not one to spend a lot of time around people. I prefer my own company and indulging in my metaphysical tools, my crystals, my candles, my incense, and I love watching TV, the Investigation Discovery Channel. That is one of my favorite of all time channels. Yes, indeed. I be camping there sometimes, y'all. And I love music. Oh, yes, indeed. It's therapeutic, and I love dancing. I get in here, I get my dance on. I like classical music too. That is calming, and a lot of times I go to sleep with that playing. And I love some R&B. I'm not a fan of rap too much, but I love me some Rihanna. That's my girl. That song, Work, Work, Work. Oh, don't get me started. I love that song. I still play it repeatedly sometimes. And I love Michael Jackson's greatest hits, James Brown's greatest hits. I be playing up in here Marvin Gaye. Yes, indeed. And I love Bruce Lee. I'm not a big fan of martial arts, but Bruce Lee and Jet Li, those two, I will watch them. Oh, yes, indeed. As far as actors, Terrence Howard is one of the ones at the top of my list. I know he has a jacked up personal life for the most part. I've heard things about his personal life, whether they're true or not. I really don't give a fuck. I just know he can act his ass off, and I watch most of the stuff he plays in. And I love Lorenz Tate. I don't see him enough, but he's another actor brother that I enjoy. And I love Al Pacino and Robert De Niro. Yes, indeed. Love me some Erykah Badu. And who else? Taraji, of course. I love Taraji P. Henson. And not many more I can think of off the top of my head. Clifton Powell. Oh, yeah, that show Saints and Sinners. If y'all don't watch Saints and Sinners, that show is fire! Woo! And I'm starting to watch Queen Sugar on Oprah's channel. So, yeah, I love watching shows. I watch some reality TV, not much. I do watch the Little Women of Atlanta. Some of that stuff on there is a hot mess, but they be having me front and center. So I just want to share some of the things I like to do. I like art. I like Impressionist art. Impressionist art is one of my favorites. Expressionist art, I like that as well. Picasso, Cubism, I like that too. And I go to some of the museums and things and enjoy some of the art exhibits that they have. And I have some art books here that I look at. And I love some aspects of the legal process and justice. One of my supervisors used to call me the DA, district attorney, because he said, "You always about that justice. You talk about justice." So yeah, I'm known for what is the justice aspect of this thing. So thank y'all for listening again.